This is a moment that everyone can remember exactly where they were, what they were doing. We're inside right now of the 9/11 mobile exhibit, and we have a few firefighters here with us, Chris.
So excited to have these gentlemen with us. To all of you, thanks so much for your service and what you did for our country. We got, I hate to do this to you, but Big Bob, Little Bob. I know he's going to bust my chops at the end of the show. And we've got Jack and Rich. So, gentlemen, to all of you, thank you so much. And I got Big Bob, I got to start with you. You were there when the first tower fell. Talk about when you first got the phone call and what went through your mind when you saw the tower crash.
Well, we were on the first alarm for the South Tower after it was hit, so we headed down there. And when we arrived, FBI agents and NYPD warned us that the Pentagon had been hit and it was a third plane heading towards us. So we knew it was pretty concerning about that. And then we went down. We were assigned to a mission down by the Western Liberty, and we just arrived there, and I looked up and the South Tower collapsed. And it's just like, it was like being in a volcanic eruption. We started running, and all that debris, there was such a gust of wind, it took me right off my feet, and I was hit by a piece of steel.
Well, we were talking earlier, you'd mentioned that, you got hurt, you were taken to the hospital, your wife couldn't talk to you for a couple of days, couldn't see you. Just talk about the anxiety and that you and a lot of your fellow firefighters went through.
Yes, my wife and children, my daughters were 11 and 13 at the time. I was missing at first. They didn't know where I was taken. And no phone calls because the lines were tied up. The city was on lockdown for a couple of days. Eventually, she was notified I was in the hospital. And my daughters were quite friendly with some of the children in the firehouse. In my battalion, if 26 firefighters responded, 13 of them were killed. And they were all very close friends. And afterwards, it was the love and support of all Americans, because it was viewed as an attack on America, not on New York. And everybody from all walks of life responded to New York and helped in every way they could. And that's part of the reason we do this. We want to educate people on what happened and remind them to maintain the spirit. United we stand, never forget. And we don't forget, because history repeats itself. If we forget what happened, it will happen again. And we're very worried about that. It's a dangerous world out there.
Gentlemen, I got to tell you, it's such an honor to sit here and visit with you and hear stories of men that were actually there. So we just, again, thank you so much for being here. You got any questions, Christy?
Well, I know that you guys have a lot of different artifacts in here, and so this is just kind of one of the things that makes this exhibit so unique is people don't have to take the trip out to New York. They can just come here and see that piece of history.
That's correct. That's correct.
So what kind of different things are in these cases?
Things that were found when the buildings came down, concrete, artifacts in here, different things.
And I know that you guys each have different stories, so when people are walking through, that's what you guys are doing, is giving them not only the history of this, but the history of what you guys were doing out there.
Right. I was only about 2 blocks away from the firehouse when we first found out that we were under attack. And I went to the firehouse, grabbed my gear, went down to the World Trade Center, and we knew where my company was stationed at the time, and that's when we started our search and rescue.
I mean, so many stories, and it's so important that people are coming here and not only walking through the exhibit, but getting to talk to these guys. And of course, we're going to have much more. We have to take a quick break, but then we'll be back here live with more inside of the 9/11 mobile exhibit.